Coastside Bait and Tackle has some suggestions for this year for Dungeness crabbing. This is 2015 and it starts on November 7th this year. What you're looking at now particularly is a crab trap that we like to use on kayaks, longboards, or your surfboard. To access the crab, we would actually just flip this open, and that's why it's so easy to use on a kayak as well. You can just bungee it onto the kayak, flat, pre-baited, or you can bait it later, but it just sits flat. You could actually stack a few, just put a bungee cord. These individual 2-pound weights are $5 each. We sell the rope for $8, a harness for $8. We put this whole thing together for $65. And this is perfect, like I said, for kayaks or longboards. So this is a conical trap that we would use at the Pacifica Pier. Or you could even use it on a boat or a kayak. It's shaped like the top of a cone with the very tip cut off. What happens is the Dungeness crab crawl up in here and drop in and go toward the bait inside the bait box. And when they decide they want to go home, they can't get out because of the shape here. It's too steep for them to crawl out. It's got its black harness with a float, and we have 3 individual outer crab ring weights. The crab ring weights each weigh 1 pound. We sell those for $6 each. We sell the bait box for $6, the rope for $8. When you put everything together here, this comes out to $70 for this conical trap. This is the Paloma hoop net. We use this on the Pacifica Pier as well. How this net works is once you drop it off the pier, it lays flat in the water. This float here keeps the harness raised up, keeps it out of the way of the crabs. It comes pre-set up like this. The whole item here is $45. With the 2 weights, the bait box and everything, this is $45 as you're looking at it. This hoop net is a little bit smaller. It's 30 inches around. This model here costs $35. It consists of a bait box, the rope, the harness, and 2 extra 1-pound outer crab ring weights. This is a crab snare. Crab snares are most effective on the pier. I would say about 80% of the crabs are caught on a snare versus a net or a trap. These work very, very well in that they're attached to a fishing pole, and I'll show you that in a few moments. But what we usually do is we'll put bait inside the reservoir here. This little door here opens up, and we'll put bait inside the reservoir, usually squid. But oftentimes we can add some mackerel, some sardine, or even anchovy just to enhance the flavor. You never want to use chicken, you never want to use salmon. Salmon is one of the natural food sources of sea lions, and it causes a problem. The chicken has some kind of smell on it that also draws in the sea lions. So if we just stick with fresh squid, mackerel, or sardine, you'll do very well. As you can see, we have a number of crab snares, and I'll have more as crab season opens up. But they range anywhere from a crab box to, at $5, they jump to $7. These are all without weights. Then when you want to add weights to them, which is to your advantage because you want the crab snare to lay flat on the ground, it just gets a little bit more expensive. So it runs from $5 to $10. When using a crab snare on a pole, you really want a decent sized pole, anywhere from 9 to 12 feet. The pole really needs to be strong enough to hold a crab snare and a crab, because it gets pretty heavy. So you can't use like a little trout rod or a salmon steelhead rod. You really need a 9 to 12 foot pole. And a 7,000, 8,000 series reel would be fine. Something about this size. Anything smaller, the little gears inside there get it's just too much pressure on the little gears inside. Some tall gears on a larger reel like this is perfect for a crab snare. We have these for $60 for the 10 feet, $50 for 9 foot. We have a variety of crab attractants. Smelly jellies, sticky liquids, and anise-based, oil-based liquids. You pour these on inside, you don't need to slather it, but you want to add a few drops just to enhance the smell of the bait. You always need a crab gauge in your possession. They run as little as $3 a piece. They're pre-punched to the accurate size in order to take a Dungeness crab. But you need this in your possession. If you carry crabs and you do not have a crab gauge in your possession, you could be subject to a fine. This is a wonderful crab pot. It's very easy to use, stackable, it's collapsible. You pull these little tabs here off of the pot, and then it starts to open up. It's got some very strong springs on it. We can use these on the pier, boat, kayak, longboards. This whole setup here, as you see it with the rope, will be $85. Also, we have nylon bait bags, and what's used frequently, usually in the traps, is a bait jar. Bait jar unscrews, you drop your bait in there, you'll have a bait pen, it would be attached, and you just hang it within your trap. Crab bait holders, anywhere from mesh at $5 and bait box $5 to larger styles at $6. Just a little larger. People like to use different styles. Usually you'll like to keep your crabs alive for a longer period of, say, 3 hours. By having an aerator inside your bucket with water, it keeps them alive up to 15, 16 hours. You never want to forget a good sharp bait knife with serrated edge so that you can cut up your bait and throw it into your bait box. Of course, you'll always want a towel because it gets pretty stinky out there. The Promar heavy-duty crab pot here, 30-inch, is $75 as you see it. When we put a harness and weights on it and a rope, it can go anywhere from $100 to even $125 depending on the type of rope that we use. Come visit new Coastside Bait and Tackle in Pacifica, 1604 Francisco Boulevard, Cross Street, Paloma. I'm closed on Mondays and Tuesdays. Wednesday through Saturday, I'm here from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sundays 7 to noon. Look me up on Yelp, New Coastside Bait and Tackle.